members who weren't. Great, thank you. So just for the recording, welcome to the January 2026 meeting of the London Modern Quilt Guild. We just had a wonderful presentation by Janice Reimer, a Canadian quilt artist. And now we're going to hear what's in store for our own 2026 program from our program coordinator, Jan. And I think, Jan, you'll start sharing your screen.
There's the share button. I'm just about to start. Elaine,
Great.
thank you very much. And
so again, we were holding this Zoom meeting because we traditionally do in January. And sometimes we don't have very pleasant weather, but it did end up being pleasant weather. But it's this meeting itself highlighting the 2026 program kind of lends itself to Zoom anyway. So I'll let you.
if you see my slideshow open, then I will start the slideshow. Is it open now, Linda or Elaine?
It is. We can still see some of the
I will start the
screen.
slideshow, and this is program.
Yeah, she's just going to hit slideshow and then.
Yep, I can do that.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm ready to start. And as promised, immediately, oh, I'm not at the beginning. Yes, I am. Good. Okay, as promised, the first page of my slideshow was Janice, because I was sort of expecting just how good. When I mentioned to Janice that I saw the quilt at QuiltCon, that's exactly what I did. I just stopped in my tracks and kept coming back to it over and over again. So I'm glad you all loved her as much as I love her work. So yeah, huge thanks. What a great start for our year. Okay, the first section of this is who are we going to have coming into our guild from outside. Cheryl Arkeson is coming in April. Her lecture is a bag full of scraps. Very characteristic of Cheryl is her use of scraps, her very, very creativity with scraps, and also to a very large extent encouraging all of us to use more scraps. Her workshop is on improv lettering, which is a super fun thing and a very, very popular thing online nowadays. There's an awful lot of interesting quilts out there with the lettering on them. So fun to have Cheryl, who's certainly incredibly skilled as a teacher, has been teaching for well over 10 years, and she does a wonderful job. So I sign early. You're going to have a great workshop with Cheryl. Oh, I went too far. I want to go back one screen. Previous. Okay. The other outside lecturer that we have coming into us is in the fall. Sorry about the TBA. I've been bouncing back and forth with Daisy trying to get. She lives in Norway. That's 6 hours away in the extreme northern hemisphere. Getting a date that's going to work for her, probably in the middle of the night. We're still working on it, but it's definitely going to be in October. Daisy is a curve person. I have been seeing Daisy's quilts with amazing quilts on them. No matter how much they appear to be minimalist, they have a brilliant design quality to them all. And she just does a fabulous job of teaching quilts. In fact, every once in a while, I'll look at somebody else who's now current and doing curves or having a pattern, and all kinds of times they say, oh, and I learned it from Daisy. So I mean, she really is quite amazing with curves. The workshop that we're going to have for her is quite unique. Actually, I brought some pictures in last November to the executive meeting. I said, which of these is right? Or maybe it was October, I can't remember which. And we all agreed that this one was pretty darn unique and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's making the curves and then cutting them apart and putting them back together again improvisationally and cutting them apart. I think it should be a fantastic exercise in creativity and giving your brain a real good shake. It just looks like it's going to be a fabulous workshop. So those are our fall activities. Now to go on with in-guild activities. For any of you who are relatively new to our guild, in-guild activities has been a strong part of the London Guild right from the beginning. We have had a lot of members who have stepped forward and shown us how to do all kinds of stuff. And it's been right from the beginning. We've had a lot of in-guild teachers, lecturers, demonstrators, whatever. So this is a big part of who we are, and it's a big part of program. The first thing on this aspect is our sew-in days. So there's 2 sew-in days scheduled for 10:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. The facility is booked. The first one is Worldwide Quilt Day, which this year is March 21st. Worldwide Quilt Day, I think they've been holding, I have no idea who started the idea, but it seems to have been going on for well over a decade. I think they started out by calling it National Quilt Day, but it's way more than national now. It started in the States, and it really is worldwide. So what we're aiming for that day, Elaine has the facility run once again on the theme of in guild helpers. If anybody has any samples they'd like to demonstrate, we're hoping for project samples. We can print things ahead of time and send them. Sending a PDF is free, so you can get it for free and you can send it for free through the guild. So project samples, sew-in sharings, and fun handouts. And I think it would be ideal if we do it within the guild. That's an excellent way to go. The second sew-in day is our Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend, which right from year one has been a sew-in day for this guild. We don't generally have anything else in program because it's almost always. I would have, a couple of years ago, I would have said, well, it's always on Thanksgiving weekend. And apparently once it wasn't. But the luck of the draw, it is almost always Thanksgiving weekend that we have the second Saturday. So the theme for this one, so in October, is Thanksgiving. It's a good time to be thankful for. And we're all going to be making any number of blocks samples this year that we're testing this and testing that. So keep your collections going, and let's make the sew-in October for the Cross Cultural Center. I'm sure people can come up with lots of ideas for that. So two sew-in days available. Okay, second project of our in-guild workshops or information, learning. We're going to run the Create Whimsy monthly introductions this year. Starting in February, we have, the idea is look around the guild, find a partner. Could be a friend, could be someone you don't know that well, and you can become more acquainted with that person. Our first volunteers were Carrie and Mary, and they have, the idea is you go onto the Create Whimsy website and you find somebody that appeals to you and your partner. And then you look through the website. That website has a lot of information about the person, an interview from the person, quotes from the person, pictures from the person, all kinds of good stuff. Put it together. Yes, Carrie, I notice your hand is up.
It's actually myself and Sandra.
Sandra, okay, I will make that correction. Thank you,
Yes.
Carrie.
And only because Sandra has actually got several of her patterns and may even be able to show something.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so I will change that name to Sandra. Good. In March, Lorraine and Lindsay, the dynamic duo, will introduce us to Claire Volkel Selmayr. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. When people have sent me emails saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, I immediately go in and look at them to see. Claire certainly looks interesting, so I'm looking forward to the introduction from Lorraine and Lindsay. And Elaine and Jackie are going to introduce Cheryl Bricky in April. Now, please think about it, everybody else. Is there one of the following months that you could come up with an introduction? Think about exploring the website first. Go into the website, check out. When you go in, there's, as you see on the screen here, quilting, embroidery, beading, sewing, and so much more. If you click on quilting, you then get an option to click on modern quilting. So that'll help you find somebody. So it's like a pyramid. It bounces down, and then you can sort of focus on a whole bunch of interesting people. There is a place to leave a comment. So if we're using this all year, let's leave some thank yous behind. So if you have an idea that you'd like to try it, maybe at the February meeting, look around the room, talk to somebody, maybe somebody that you haven't worked with before, they're at your table or something like that, and find somebody to do an introduction with. Okay, the next in-guild members project is this. When I first talked about this, I believe it was in November, there were immediately 5 people who said, yeah, I'll help. I'm thinking, okay, we can make 5 work. And since then, it has grown. We now have 12 people. I think that's absolutely amazing. There are 12 people willing to help with this project. We're having our first meeting next Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock. My apologies to anyone in the room right now who got the invitation and then wrote back to me and said, what time? I thought, oh, well, brain freeze, Jan. Didn't put 7 o'clock down, but it is 7 o'clock. So starting in February and running through to September, which is 8 months, we're going to have presentations based on Joan Wolfram's 3-in-1 color tool, which you see in the picture there. We have it all worked out, the 12 people who are working on this. So there's going to be 3 colors each month. And as you can see in the background, my picture here is my scrappy. I'm part of the group of 3, so 3 people doing this. I'm part of the group of 3 in the first month, February, who are, and I got, Sandra chose magenta and Pat chose yellow. So the third color was turquoise, and that ended up being mine. So I've got my color tool open. I went into some scraps boxes. Everything here was used for something else. And I do have tones, I do have prints, I have batik, I have solids, I have wovens, I have marbles. There are no restrictions on this, but we're going to play. And I was really pleased that Janet mentioned being aware of adding shades to and we'll explain that next month, shades to your color selection, because there's a couple of shades on the page there too. Shades being where you take the pure color and add gray to it, and in different amounts of gray, and see what happens. It'll end up with a wrap-up presentation in November where the 8 months, the work from the 8 months are put together all together. I will mention one other thing, having mentioned the October sew-in for Thanksgiving. As the group of 12 are making their samples and presenting them to you each month, after the guild meets on the second Saturday and you see the samples and hear the information and do the exercises for those 3 colors, you can then go home and make your own group of 3 blocks, so using the colors that are there. So there's all kinds of possibilities of what we can do with this. But yes, it is going to be an exploration of color with a very good teacher. I have her book here, and because it is almost like a reference book for me, I'm not giving it up for anything. But if we don't have it in the library, we should get it because it really is one of the most thorough reference books for color that I've ever seen. I mean, I've got quite a few color books. I love the one that Shirley recommended to us a year ago when I got it. It's got great stuff in it. This one is a little bit more scientific, and it really does play more with a much broader range of colors. So very interesting. I'm so thankful we have 12 people. The more people involved in things, the stronger it becomes.
Oh, and Jan, I just wanted to say in your photo, I think you had an early edition. This is the third edition of the
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Mine is not only early, it's probably an antique.
Yep, I checked our local quilt shops. No one had it in stock, so I did get it on Amazon. It
Yes,
was
I've seen it. And
$28.
I think a few other people have got it. You'll never regret having bought it. I've used it for years and I love it. And yes, this one is definitely an antique. They've improved it. It's the same information, but the packaging is, I think, easier to manage nowadays.
Just a
Okay?
quick question, Jan.
Yeah.
So it's actually a tool. Like I looked at it on Amazon and it wasn't cheap, I gotta say, a
No, it
third
isn't.
edition. Um, but so that's what we should get.
Yeah, it's this one.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and Linda or Elaine can pull up hers. It's a set
Okay.
of cards, and you open
Okay.
it up. And if you're hesitant and you're wondering, do I want to get this? Okay, here's turquoise. That's the one I'm doing for next month. On one side is a whole bunch of colors. There's the pure color, turquoise blue. Then they show what happens when you add varying amounts of white to it, and it goes up to an extremely pale tint. Or what happens when you add black to it and it goes down, it's basically navy blue at the end. On the other side of the same card, it shows you what happens when you add gray. So those are the shades that Janice was mentioning. So if you add shades to a tint, it's still a fairly low value fabric, very, very bright, but it's grayed tone out. The ones in the middle are the ones that are closer to the pure color. And then at the bottom, there is, I think the new one is easier to manage here, but at the bottom, it's what happens when you add black to your colors. And on the other side, it's got more, I mean, for the size that it is, it's got an amazing amount of color. When I have an idea that I want to make something, come up with an idea, a concept, a pattern, maybe a piece of fabric that just grabbed my attention. If I'm going shopping, I won't go without this one into the shop. I take it along with me. I say, okay, I've got this print I want to play with. And it's turquoise. So what are all the various things? Even if it's not a color that's in my print, so if my print has got a lot of turquoise in it, but it's got other things, then I go along with my cart and I think, I'm still missing something. I want another this or another that. Then I'll look at things that I can find in the shop that what I find it does for me is it makes me look at things that I maybe wouldn't have thought of looking at. It sort of jogs you in a different direction. It's very, very practical. Color is amazing. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. And the other part of our in-guild workers is Shirley with her block of the month. So she's next.
Shirley, thank you, Jan. Someone who's still color isn't second nature. I'm looking forward to that especially. So, sure, Carrie, can
I'm
you
here.
highlight Shirley?
Yeah, let me just how do I spotlight Shirley?
You go on
Linda?
to the participants list, and beside there's a little blue tab with little dots on it, and you click on
Okay.
those dots to
Oh, actually, I
find
pinned.
spotlight.
I've got her pinned, Carrie.
Pinning
Oh, you've got
just
her
works
pinned?
for you. You have to spotlight her so that everybody can see her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So how do you just explain how you're doing that?
On her participant name, go to more and
Oh, there.
spotlight's one of the options.
Good. I
Okay,
got
good.
it, Carrie. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Thought I had, before I talk about block of the month, I thought I had about what Jen was saying. I've been known to go into Home Depot or a paint store and just stand and look at all the color chips to see where the colors fit into my thought process and come home, pull a few and take them, bring them home. And that helps sometimes organize your color thoughts. And you do get asked, oh, can I help you with anything? And you just say, no, I'm looking, thank you. All right, so block of the month this year. The only hard, fast rules have to do with if you want to make a block for donation so that when we put them together in a quilt, there will be some similarities and we can make them work together. If you want to make them in any other color, pick a palette. So on the introduction page on the website, I did include a photo of a pattern that I had from um, Moda using Bella solids and how they put together a multitude of blocks in a palette in a variety of sizes. So it'll be traditional blocks, and if you can make some extra blocks, if you are between projects or you want to sew and you don't want to start on a project, if you make a block of the month and bring it in to donate, we will collect them all up and hopefully make some quilt tops. The Cross Cultural Learner Center is working towards building a new facility that I saw in the news last night is stalled. So if we can make some quilts for their new facility in a couple of years, then that'll be a bonus for everyone. So the blocks may be 12, 15, or 18 inches. They're not made to go in a specific layout as I'm using a lot of blocks that I had done for a quilt guild that went into a particular layout. So these ones you're free to do. And we talked about magic numbers last year. So if you have a 12-inch block, you can use 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 6, 8, whatever, but you don't use 5 inches. So it's just thinking about what numbers can be divided evenly into the block size. And each month it'll be black and white plus one color. Use tone on tones. Sometimes culturally, pattern and design and particular symbols are not appropriate. So if we keep to solids and tone on tones, then we will be good with making them appropriate for anyone. So use white. I remember one time at the store, we had 2 bolts of Kona white, and they were not the same. There was a slight shade difference. One had been produced in Japan, one in Indonesia. So even though they were both Kona white, and you depend on colors to be consistent across this, or bolts to be consistent across the same color, these ones definitely look different. So white is white. As long as we don't get into beiges, then they will all go together. And if there's variations in the whites, then when you quilt them with a colored thread, it'll unify them all anyway. And black, stay close to black without getting into charcoal grays or whatever. And each month we will focus on one color. I'll try to coordinate it with the colors that we're doing in Guild program once a month. So first month is the traditional thrifty blocks. It's been posted already on the website. I have a color wheel that I got many, many years ago in the 1980s at the New England Quilt Museum. I don't know, this one.
Mhm.
So when I said blue, I took a picture of, no, it wasn't this one, it was a different one. All right. I won't go look for it, but I'll use the colors off of that so that you can see, and shades and tones. So the first one I did was this one. So the color is blue, so a real true blue, denim blue. And I thought, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. And I thought, in order to show you what I mean by factors and magic numbers. So this is 12 and a half. The blue is 4 inches finished. So this one I made today, same block, only I used a tone on tone blue. The blue squares are 2 inches finished. And I used the tone on tone because I didn't have any more of that blue, but I did have enough to do this one that finishes 3 inches because I could get 4 1.5 inch squares out of the blue scrap I had left. So it's all the same block, just different magic numbers. And these ones I could actually use if I wanted to put it together. If I'm to fill in spaces, then I could use that. And when I did this block for the other guild block of the month, I just used 2 colors, lime green and white, and you get an entirely different feeling from the block. So you can do anything like this, any colors you want, any arrangement with pieces, and make some modern looking traditional blocks that you could use later, or you can make a whole bunch of bags or placemats or whatever. So that's where the thoughts behind block of the month this year. Anyone have a question? I must say it's really weird seeing me speaking to myself.
Are we doing all the same block for this month?
No, every month there'll be a different block.
Oh, but we're all like for this month, we're going to be doing that block you showed us. Is that?
So the hope is you'll do this block in this kind of colorway as a donation block.
Okay. And then we can
And
play
if you
with
want to
it
do,
ourselves.
if you want to do 2 or 5 or whatever, we'll take all the donations and make them into quilt tops.
Okay.
And
If
all
you
of us
want,
do the 12.5 inch sides?
yes.
Okay.
Your donation blocks have to be 12.5 inches, black and white, and in a true blue.
Great.
If you want to make them, play with them for your own creations, then you can make them any size you want and any colors you want and have fun playing with whatever.
Yeah.
Great. Great. I'm looking forward to this. I love being able to donate quilts into such a worthy cause. So thank
And
you.
if you have some scraps and you can't part with them, then it's a good way to actually use them, try something, and know that they're going to be well used.
That's right. That's
Nice
right.
idea to try the 3 sides too, Shirley? Because it gives you that more flexibility when you go to put them together.
All right, thank you.
Great. So now Carrie is going to give us an update on what the Canadian Quilters Association has in store for us this year. Thank you, Carrie. Oh, Carrie, you're muted.
Okay, sorry about that. And I just needed to figure out my control. So I just want to give you a quick update. Thank you for Janice for giving a good plug for Quilt Canada. What's really great, what I wanted to talk about is Winter Wednesday webinars at 7 p.m. Right now, just like all the Boxing Day sales, you can buy 5 webinars for the cost of 4 webinars, but this applies to individual members only. And our first presenter is Judy Garcia, talking about layered landscape painting landscapes with fabric and thread. David Taylor is February 11th. And then February 18th is Bobby. And now I don't want to ruin her. I would say Gentili. She's the geeky bobbin. And I've shown her picture right here. It's the curves, circles that her presentation is Don't Be Square. And then on March 19th, Robin Bogart is presenting exciting techniques to your coloring, to your quilting. And so if you are a CQA individual member, you can sign up on the CQA website for these 5 webinars for the cost of only 4. So it's only $40. And you don't have to listen at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. For example, there's one in April that we've signed up. Oh, did I leave off April? Oh, 1, 2. I think I left off April. The one in April will actually be going to Paris, but you actually to the quilting bee in Paris. But you actually have a week to listen to the presentation. So you listen to it, it's from like 7 to 8:30 on a Wednesday, and then they send you the recorded presentation the next day. So you have a week to listen to that.
Just as an aside, Carrie, before you go on with the next slide, Bobby Gentili taught at our guild, I think must be 6 years ago now. She was the very first one we ever had as a teacher on Zoom. She's pretty good on Zoom. So she's a good teacher.
Yeah, and so the other thing I forgot to mention is all of these speakers are either doing a workshop or a lecture at Quilt Canada 2026 in Winnipeg. So, and I know that Louise and both Mary and Elaine and Linda are members, and I'm sure there's more members than that in our guild. So there's a quilt along, Meet Me in Manitoba, and this is for individual and professional members only. And there are blocks posted every 3rd Wednesday starting in December, and it's designed by Pam Rive Robertson. So the first piece was called Explore the Aurora Borealis. And I actually took Louise's Laidlaw's block, which is to the left here. So she's joined the Facebook page to share what people are doing. I've actually, just like Elaine and I were talking, I've actually printed the instructions on how to do the first block, but I haven't done it yet. So that's it, the next sort of thing that you can do with the CQA. And then what I really wanted to focus on is there's a quilt guild challenge for 2026. They didn't announce it until October, and it is on what Canada means to me. And the only requirements is that it's a solid or tone-on-tone red and white fabric has to be in it. It has to be a wall quilt. No, the perimeter, it can't be bigger than 72 inches, so it's 18 by 18. And each guild would get to select one quilt from their guild to go to Quilt Canada. We get to design the process of how we select it, and that we have to send our guild challenge to Quilt Canada in Winnipeg by April 30th. The prize money is $500. And if we're interested in entering the challenge, we have to advise them by February 1st. So I was kind of asking, would people like to participate in this?
Can I just ask a couple of questions? I think members have seen my O Canada quilt,
Mhm.
which can be made medium small. I think the one that I can bring it in the February meeting, and I'm happy to share. I think I've shared the pattern with a lot of different people. So I'd be glad to bring it back in February. And if
Can
yes,
you do it that small, Jan? Because I actually bought all the fabric and I was so inspired. I went and bought all the fabric for it. And then your pattern says 30 inches. And then I
yeah, but I would
tried
have
to,
if it's a perimeter of 72 inches, I would just have to adapt the pattern, which I can easily do. Because
oh, okay.
I've got all the math for that. So if you want me to do that, I will before February.
And then I mean we don't have like I mean I think that your pattern is absolutely fabulous. But would like other members of the guild be interested in sort of competing for the honor of their wall quilt to go to Quilt Canada?
I think it would be a great opportunity to have sort of like a president's challenge so that everybody who wants to make one can make one. And,
And
we have it.
you have until the end of April, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
So,
yes.
yeah.
Well, you
So
kind
we
of
could,
probably need to have it done the early April because we would vote
yeah,
on it in
yeah,
early April at our April meeting.
yeah,
And then the guild would pay for to send it to Quilt Canada.
yeah.
So can I just see people like sort of raise their hand or send some claps or just say like unmute yourself and say yes, I'd be interested? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some positive hands. So can we kind of take that as we'll go ahead?
It's good.
Excellent.
We can discuss it
Excellent.
at
Good.
our next executive meeting as to just how that's going to look like in our guild.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
we'll figure that out. And so then we're still doing the Trend Text Challenge. So the CQA always does a Trend Text Challenge every year. And this year, what they've actually added is not only can you do a wall quilt, but you can actually do a bag. And it ends up being 20 inches. So the perimeter has to be 120 inches. And how come I've got a little goof on my, anyway. Whoops, just a second. So the kits, and I've already, so I know Elaine has a kit and Mary has a kit. So because we're a guild member, I get to sell the kits for $25 to everyone who would like one. If you'd like one, let me know by email, because now that the mail is moving again, because you've got to start working on your kilt, your quilt, and the colors are confluence, as you can see the colors across, and there'll be first, second, and third place for both the wall and the bag, and there will also be judges' choice and viewers' choice. And all the quilts are to be sold by silent auction at Quilt Canada, but it's also done online. And last year we raised over $8,000, and it was really quite cool to be able to bid on other people's quilts and everything online. So you don't actually have to be in Winnipeg, but though I do know that there's a couple of people that might be interested in going to Winnipeg. So that's kind of cool. And so then we can ask the people that are in Winnipeg to pick up our challenges or even our guild challenge to bring home. And then, of course, there's a youth challenge. There's 3 categories for people 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and 15 to 19 years of age. You just contact Irene at that number. And I actually, at the last guild meeting, oops, I'm just going to step away for a sec. There's the road trip fabric looks like this. It's all license plates. And then there's an extra bonus fabric that has moose dressed in various Canadian wear, and they can add that as well. And what's really nice is that all first, second, and third place winners in each one of these categories gets a sewing machine from Janome. And then each one of these categories, there's an online voting, and they get $100. So it's nice to encourage our youth to take up the quilting hobby. And maybe we could actually, Kristen, encourage the Beal people to enter the youth challenge. So that's exciting. Quilt Canada is in Winnipeg. They've got all of the teachers and lectures and workshops already listed on the website, and you can kind of see, you can click on the CQA website where you go to events and then choose Quilt Canada 2026. Then you can actually click on a full schedule or just what's on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. What I've shown you is a Bobby Gentili. This is Vortex, one of her workshops that she's going to be doing. So you can kind of go take a look. The other sort of advantage of being an individual member is that if you're going to go to Quilt Canada, you get a 10% discount if you book before March 10th, and registration for the different workshops and lectures opens online February 24th. There are 3 different hotels in Winnipeg. It is at the RBC Convention Center downtown. So there's a Delta, and I clicked on all the links. Delta is $259 a night. The Alt Hotel is $189, and the Radisson downtown is $229. So there's sort of a variety of places and to go to. And then for those people, I'm not sure that we want to really get an overnight bus trip going, but for those people that have family in Winnipeg, or if there was a guild like we did last year, some of our members went with other guilds, and you can get a discounted rate. So it's interesting. Based on the cost of the venue, the daily rate varies, because last year it was $37, and I know in Toronto the venue was very expensive. So the Winnipeg venue convention center must be cheaper. So for groups of 30 or more, if they register as a group, that you can get a discounted rate of $26.50 for the day. And then the regular price online is $31.50. So if those people in our guild are going to plan to go, they can actually book their passes at $31.50. And just sort of, I'm not sure that we are going to be looking at a bus trip, but I was quite surprised that there was a maritime bus trip that came from the Maritimes, and there were people from New Brunswick, PEI, and Nova Scotia on the bus that went. And so on June 17th in Quilt Canada, I'm just going to step back a sec. June 17th is the opening ceremonies that evening, where you get to see the quilt winners of all the different categories. And then the actual hall is open from 9:30 to 6 which is the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I would recommend, if you're going the Thursday night, they have called a quilt quilt and show and tell, which they have some of the workshop instructors do a 15-minute presentation, and they do like a light supper with sandwiches and gourmet kind of sandwiches and salads and finger food that you can eat on the Thursday night. And that always sells out. Quilt Canada 2027 is going to be in Calgary at the BMO Center at Stampede Park. And that should be quite exciting. And for those people looking to kind of, if you wanted to go to Quilt Canada 2026, they're looking for key team lead positions. And what they would do is, if you'd like to, there's job descriptions on the website. If you are a key team lead, then Quilt Canada will pay for your hotel room and give you a food allowance, but it is a lot of like you will have some work to do. And then the general volunteer recruitment will begin at the end of March. So if there are people that have got family in Winnipeg and you want to volunteer 4 hours of your time to work at Quilt Canada, you will get a day pass. So those are sort of my key learnings. And then I'm not sure that we had a quilt show at Quilt Canada that would qualify. But if you won a CQA Rosette for Viewer's Choice or Best in Show at any of our guild shows between January of 2024 and December 31st, of 2025, and you weren't displayed at the Quilt Canada in Toronto, you can actually apply to show your quilt at in Winnipeg. And so this is the viewer's choice. And this, I loved this quilt. It's little birds, you can't really see, but these are little bird panels in between. And she used the technique of quilt as you go. So it was called Flight of Fancy. And the colors are absolutely stunning. And she used the quilt as you go technique. So she hand quilted, and her quilting was beautiful, these individual panels, and then sewed them together. So that's really it for me. For any questions for me?
Oh, Jackie has a question.
Jackie?
Yes. So for the What Canada Means to Me quilt challenge, does the whole quilt have to be only reds and whites and solids or tone on tones, or is it just that you have to include the red and white within?
You just have to include
Okay.
some red and white to
Okay.
and it has to be within the 18 by 18
Mm-hmm.
parameters. So, if you want to do like, I don't know, the Rocky Mountains and then just put like a red and white binding around it, or whatever you want to do, if you want to do whatever, maybe hockey is your most important thing, but we want to try and keep it non-political, by the way.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
And I'm going to turn it over to Elaine.
Okay. So I just wanted to introduce to you the executive for 2026, and this will also come out in the welcome letter that will be going out to anyone who registers for our guild for the coming year. Vice President will be Carrie. Thank you very much for stepping up. Last year, Carrie came to our meeting as the CQA rep, and somewhere through the meeting, she decided she wanted to join our guild. So, and now she's stepped up to be vice president and in a couple of years president. So thank you, Carrie. We have some other new faces. Tammy is going to be our treasurer, secretary Anna, and I think Jan has done this for many years, our program coordinator. And thank you again. We're looking forward to our program this year. Community outreach, Jane is staying in this role. Louise does a fabulous job with our website and our socials, and so glad she stayed on. Our membership coordinator is vacant. Carrie and I are kind of divvying up the duties right now, but we would welcome anyone who wants to come in and take over for that. Susan is our librarian again, and Block of the Month, Shirley. Again, thank you. We're looking forward to the Block of the Month program. Kristen is staying on the executive, stepping down from the role of secretary, but planning some social events for us this year. And our MQG liaison rep is Daphne. So thank you, everyone, for being on the executive. It just makes this organization tick. Thank you. And the next slide.
Oh, here, I'll be your slide girl.
Oh, I think I found it. There we go. And so membership renewals, our annual fee remains at $65 again, which I think is a great deal because you, as you know, you're also then have access, you can access the Modern Quilt Guild site. We're an affiliate of the overall worldwide Modern Quilt Guild, and they have a lot of videos and free patterns on their website, a ton of information. And so we ask you to go to our website under the Join tab, complete and membership form, check out the bylaws, and you can send your payment by credit card by clicking on the links on the website, or you could go to your banking app and pay by e-transfer too. So we hope you join again. And we're getting up to the 2 hour mark. The next part of the slide presentation is a look back at 2025. Oh,
Actually,
sorry.
I forgot.
Yes,
We need to get 2 volunteers to audit our financial statement.
right. I have the financial statement completed for last year. So in accordance with our guild bylaws, we require 2 volunteers to just audit that. How long did it take you? About an hour last year? I think you volunteered, Kiri.
I can actually volunteer again. Can I do that if I'm vice president?
According to the guild bylaws, anyone else besides treasurer can volunteer.
Okay.
So thank you.
Oh, I
And
think Tammy just volunteered as well. Or you can ask a question.
oh, Tammy.
Volunteer.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
great.
Actually, Tammy, maybe not since you are now the treasurer for this year.
Okay,
Maybe it would be
sure.
better to have someone else. Thank you though.
No problem.
Okay, well,
Honestly, it was really easy. They share the files and I think it maybe took an hour, hour and a half. Like, and it because I was new, it really gave me a good understanding of where we spend our money. My only other suggestion would be is that I still have yet to get on the Modern Quilt Guild website. I found it really super hard. Like it's not really liking. I first tried with the wrong email and then I've reset my password and I've never received the reset password. So I think it would be nice to actually have a demo maybe sometime in the
Yes,
next 2 months.
I agree.
okay, yes, it's not the most user-friendly website.
No.
But the email issue is perhaps whatever email you gave us, that is what we use to register you for the Modern Quilt Guild. So yeah, maybe we could take a look at in the next couple of months that process. I can bring in my laptop and we can sign in. Sure. Okay, so I'll just take a few minutes to look back at 2025. Linda put together this wonderful presentation for us. Just I'll quickly give the highlights. So January, same thing as this meeting. We looked ahead at the coming year and looked back at the 2024 year. Linda introduced a President's Challenge to us, try a new color. Design inspiration was page 42 of any publication and use some recycled fabric or anything you had around. We introduced creative Pilates and started kind of working with blocks, traditional blocks, and doing our own thing. And we had our 10th anniversary party last year, and thanks to Kristen and Jan for spearheading that. We had cakes and treats, some member quilts and vendors, and we had a number of new members join our guild as a result of that. So in February, As part of our program, we had a presentation by members of our guild that are also members of the Canadian Borders Guild. So thanks to Mary, Andrea, Susan, Beth, Jane, and Lorraine, who dazzled us with their creations. And there's one of them on the left. And in February, we learned that at QuiltCon, the quilt that we submitted as our community quilt was sold. So it raised some money for a local charity in Phoenix last year. In March, we had a lecture by A.B. Friend on alternate grid and negative space. There were 3 or 4 of us that participated in a newish member trunk show, so you could get to know us a little better. Louise shared a photo gallery of her experiences at QuiltCon. We had Worldwide Quilting Day on a separate Saturday, and we started working on this quilt pictured. It was a pattern by the Modern Quilt Studio called Friendship Bracelet, and we got quite a bit done that day with all the members that attended. Amy Friend also conducted a workshop for us on improvisational FPP piecing, which was a lot of fun. And Linda and I went on the road to the Stonetown Quilters Guild in St. Mary's and presented a trunk show of modern quilts by some of our members. In April, we had a lecture by Steph Scardell, Creativity and Pushing Your Creative Boundaries. And the President's Challenge mini quilts were revealed, and there's a smattering of the ones that were brought in, a lot of creativity there. And I presented, as part of just our normal guild presentation, a little lecture on ergonomics for quilters. And then in May, wow, we had Sandra Thomas bring in, I guess, dozens of her very creative vests and did a little trunk show for us. And then she conducted a workshop, which was sold out at the end of that time period. And Linda and I were on the road again. We went to the Sarnia Guild to present a trunk show. In June, we had a Sashiko demonstration by Pat, and she provided little kits so we could try it out ourselves. And in June, Quilt Canada was on, and a lot of our members found their way there. In July, Lindsay presented Big Stitch Quilting, and again, she provided us with little quilts as kits as well. And we got to try out Big Stitch, and it wasn't so scary as I thought it was going to be. In August, Jan and Linda presented on Drunkard's Path and improv curve techniques. And Linda announced the Fall President's Challenge using scraps from either our own baskets or a scrap exchange that we did in September. And we constructed, the prompt was to construct the quadrants. And the design inspiration was botanical. Okay, yeah, September. Jane and Linda presented on paper piecing, and we had the scrap exchange. And we started some social virtual gatherings on a couple Mondays a month by Zoom. And Linda and I went on the road again, just to Western Fair this time, to provide a guild booth there. In October, we had our annual sew-in on the Thanksgiving weekend. And in November, Linda presented on improvisational lines. We had a reveal of the Fall President's Challenge quilts, and there is a few of the samples there. We had a stunning lecture with Sheila Frampton Cooper on spontaneous creation and inspiration, and a workshop with Sheila Frampton Cooper on applique and piecing, and it was run over 2 Saturdays, was sold out and actually oversubscribed. Sheila allowed us to add a few more participants because we had such a strong showing there. In December, we had our annual potluck at East Lyons, and we made gift bags that were designed and demonstrated by Jan and Pat. Thank you. and a donation drive for Toys for Tots. And thank you very much. I was overwhelmed by the response, and so was the Toys for Tots organization. They were very thankful. And there's a couple more slides. Every meeting we had show and share. And as Linda says, it's always inspirational. Thank you, everyone, for sharing all year long with us. And quilt whispering, those words, quilt as desired, still strike fear in me. So it was fun to have everyone's input to anyone who brought in their quilt, their flimsy for help. And on this screen also you see Jan's O Canada quilt. Yeah. So the next slide. Yeah. Kristen introduced or
Whoop.
whoop.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
Kristen set up 3 dates for us, Stitch in Springbank Park, and they were pretty well attended. She also invited the Friendship Guild, so we got to chat and get to know some of their members as well. And the next slide. A special thing that we did this year, the LMQG sponsored a $250 award to a Beal Art textile specialist who had spent 4 years in their program. And the winner was Riley, and that is the quilt that she won with over her right shoulder, the large one there. So it was a fun experience. And this one, I think this is our finals. That might be our final of 2025. We did another collaboration with Museum London, creating a small companion piece that the art gallery attendees could touch that went with the Joyce Whelan quilt that they had on display. And it was started as a small group project, but kudos to Jane, who powered through many iterations to make this small touchable quilt that was on display. And what a great 2025. Thank you all for being a part of the London Modern Quilt Guild last year. And I hope you're looking forward to 2026 as much as I am. So as I said at the beginning, this is our one and only Zoom meeting for the year. All the rest of the meetings will be in person at the East London Community Centre. So any questions, comments? No? Well, I will call an end to this meeting then. Thank you all for attending.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Elaine.
now
Bye now. Thanks.
I have to hit stop recording.